Good morning. Welcome to the June 19th Downtown Design Review Committee meeting. First, we will have roll call. Paula?
Betsy Brunstetter. Gigi Faulkner.
Present.
Charles Ainsworth.
Present.
Ike Akinwande.
Present.
Connie Scothorn.
Present.
Richard Tannenbaum.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at those?
Second.
Have a motion, a Tannenbaum, Ainsworth motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. It looks like first on our agenda we have no continuance requests, and we do have a consent docket item, 200 North Walker. Is anyone here to make any comments about that? Paula from the city or anyone in the audience? Are there any questions from any members of the committee about the changes on 200 North Walker?
Move to approve, ma'am. Second.
Okay. We have a Tannenbaum Ainsworth motion to approve the consent docket. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion is approved. Welcome, Madam Chairman.
I
Good
apologize for my tardiness. The next item is the items for individual. There are no cases withdrawn. We have cases for individual consideration. The first item is 616 Southwest 5th Street. Is the applicant present? No. Okay. 717 Southwest 5th Street. Is the applicant present? I would like to move these to the heel of the docket and move to the end of the docket so we can, just in case they haven't had an issue getting here. And here, 437 Northwest 12th Street. Is the applicant present? And can you come forward, please? And Lisa, do you speak for Scotty? Yes. Yeah, okay. Scotty. You're Lisa and Scotty.
Good morning. My name is Robert Newman, 10400 Greenbrier Place. I'm the architect. Thank you for the opportunity to present our proposal for 437 Northwest 12th Street. I want to start out real quickly by familiarizing you with the existing site.
Pardon me for just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
At some point during your conversation, if you would write your name down so we would have a record of it.
On here? I already have.
Oh, good.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right.
Our site is at 12th and Walker. This is Walker along here. 12th is along the south side, so Walker borders us on the west. To the east, we have a vacant lot. Into the north, there is an alley. There is a small building, single-story building existing on the site, and I know that in the staff report it mentions that it has some potential elements of a mid-century modern design. However, I want to point out that those elements are only present on one facade, the south facade, which is only about 15% of the building. The rest of the facades of the building, including the primary facade that faces Walker, are fairly utilitarian. They're basically masonry with punched door and window openings. In fact, somebody's actually painted a mural on the facade along the Walker side, kind of in an attempt to dress the building up or to give it some sort of character on that prominent facade. As I mentioned, the building's only a small portion of the site. The majority of the site, especially that along Walker, is basically curb-to-curb paving. You can see here it's very, very barren, and you can also see it in the aerial that's basically a big heat island. And it really has no architectural or artistic character to it at all. There's no landscaping. It's basically paving and gravel and parking stops. Our vision for the corner of Northwest 12th and Walker is very different. Our proposal is a two-story office building. It's plus or minus 17,000 square feet. It's primarily composed of red modular brick, cast stone, large simulated divided light windows. We also have, as you can see here, some wrought iron features. We also have some canvas awnings to soften the features, or to soften the building, in addition to some cast stone, some EIFS accents. When we started this building, one of the things we took into consideration is the area, the number of restaurants, and so many different destinations to walk to. And so we wanted walkability to be a main feature of this building to incorporate pedestrian traffic and bicycles. Now, it's true that we do have parking, which is part of an economic function to get the building to work, but we've worked very hard to hide that parking, and as a matter of fact, most of the parking is actually under the footprint of the second story of the building, so that's screened on three sides. The portion of the parking that is not screened by the building, we've screened with landscaping. Going back to the idea of the walkability, we wanted to try to integrate the building into the neighborhood and to help establish a sense of community. And one of the ways that we did that, our main entrance is actually a pedestrian entrance on the western facade, on the Walker side. There's also a secondary entrance along there too. And we've created green belts along both 12th Street and the western facade to try to create some elements that are human scaled, to soften the transition from the street to the building, and also to provide some interest to help generate some walkability and community interaction. And I think the large windows kind of help create a way to communicate between the exterior and the interior of the building. Also, on the southern facade, we have a little bit larger green space, and we wanted to create a little bit bigger transition between 12th and the building itself, because we have this two-story patio. And again, I think this patio is going to help us to create a sense of community. I think this is going to be a great place for people to have a break, have a cup of coffee, eat lunch, or even to work outside on a nice day. And trying to get people outside of the building so that they start interacting with those around them and the neighborhood around them. And then again, having so many direct accesses to the sidewalks and the streets around it, we really think that people are going to take advantage of walking to restaurants and some of the local attractions around it. One of the other things that we incorporated into this, and I want to clarify, I know in the staff report it said that there's a stainless steel lattice work. The intent is actually to be wrought iron, and that would be down here on this end of the building. And what we want to do with that is use that for a backdrop to have a piece of public art that is complementary to not only the building, but also the neighborhood around, and to contribute to, again, to the community in that sense. So we think this is going to be a great project, not only from an architectural standpoint, but also as an economic anchor for the area, to help support the existing restaurants and entertainment venues there, as well as to provide some office space that's obviously needed, and also hopefully to contribute to the neighborhood and the social fabric. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions?
So where's,
Go ahead. I just had a question about this cast stone elements. It looks like the pediments for the vertical, everything at ground level would be cast stone. The window surrounds and the big front door
Yes, ma'am.
surround is cast stone, and then the top is EIFS.
Yes, ma'am. Essentially, the upper elements, we've used the EIFS. Anything that, you're going to be able to walk up and touch and feel, we have kept a cast stone. Those, the bottoms of the column bases are also load-bearing, so that dictates the cast stone, as well as the windows
Right.
round and sills.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I was, make sure I have my thing on. I was in the process of looking at the landscape plan because that's the first thing I look at. And I will tear it apart for you if you'd like. But then I realized, actually, first let me start with, I think your building's really nice. It's really pretty. What I don't like is that you're tearing down an existing building to build it.
Yes, ma'am.
And it looks to me like it's in really good shape. And so I just wondered, it seems to me that part of what we do here is preservation? Is that true? Did you look, I think it's a really nice looking building, personally. I think it fits, the building that's there fits with what's going on in the community right now.
I think one of the things that we're really trying to achieve with this project is to provide an anchor for that corner and also to develop the site in a way that it's used more efficiently than it currently is. And that's sort of where, when we looked at the existing building, where it was placed, really didn't lend itself to kind of the overall concept of trying to anchor that corner and to move our parking back to where it was screened, as opposed to having the parking as being the main feature at the corner.
Is there anyone occupying that building now?
There is a current tenant, but they are leaving in about a month and a half, I believe.
I think you're correct. We're here to preserve historic buildings, not retrofit reuse of a wonderful, wonderful corner on a much larger scale, especially with the urbanism that we're trying to achieve in Midtown. The walkability aspect is across from the edge. That whole area should be redeveloped, and I think this is a terrific retrofit and reuse of that corner. That building is not significant, and it's just, yeah, that's not one that we would really have any need to keep, in my opinion. I think it's a great-looking new building. I'm familiar with the developer, and they do quality work, so what you're seeing is what you're going to get. That's my only comment.
It will increase the density in that area, which is good. It gets rid of a parking lot on a major street, which is also very, very good. And it's a good quality project. It appears to be very good quality. So, I have a motion one way or the other?
Well, can I bring up the landscaping before?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, it does meet the points, but you cannot buy a 2-gallon Nellie R. Stevens, and it would never be a 6-foot hedge. It would be 2-foot, based on ANSI standards. And I've never seen, I don't think you can even buy a 1-inch caliper magnolia tree. So I would encourage you to, if you're just trying to go for meeting code, reduce the number of plants and size them up so that they'll be seen and it will have a better chance of survival. I mean,
Okay.
the landscape plan, if it was sized up, would be very nice, but it's sized for a minimum. Like I said, I don't think you can buy them that small.
Yeah, I think the intent with the landscape plan at this moment was to go ahead and illustrate the direction we're going and to satisfy the points. But I think in reality, once we develop the project, you'll find that we add a lot of landscaping to it. I've done several projects with this developer, and knowing them, they have a track record for really wanting to pay attention to the aesthetics of the site, because that's how they're going to sell the project, quite frankly, from an economic standpoint, is the attractiveness of it. And I think the landscaping is going to be a key component to that.
Well,
Oh, someone, yeah.
Good morning.
good morning.
My name is Nelda Ramsey, and I own the lot directly to the east of what's going up. And first, I think it's a beautiful rendering. The building that's there, I've been inside it numerous times, and it's awful. It's a very narrow, long building. There's nothing beautiful about it. So I think that their plans are wonderful. I do have one concern that I would like to address, and I'm sure that that can be answered by the architect. This building is extremely large for that corner, and you would have to go over there and actually see it. The lot and then the building that's currently there is very narrow and long. And my only concern is the parking, and if they have planned for enough parking for the size of the building and how many spaces are going to be available. Other than that, I think it's a wonderful idea.
I definitely see what your concern is, because there is a parking kind of difficulty going on over there right now. However, we don't have a parking requirement.
Okay.
As long
So
as it-
anything they do is more than we ask them to do.
As long as it meets code and it gets permitted.
But could somebody tell me how many parking spaces will be available for this size of a building? Because it will impact the area.
Oh, no question. Walkability.
I believe we have 26 spaces, if I recall correctly.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, I'm just curious, as a neighbor, I live in Heritage Hills, as does Michael, and man, it's getting really dense down there, which I guess a lot of people say was good and some people say was bad, but if you just said there's 4 spaces per 1,000 parked, that's 68 cars, and if you got, how many did you say you had?
26, I believe.
26, so I'm just curious from a leasing standpoint, because I own buildings, and every time I try to lease space, I'm sure Dick would agree, people want to know, where do I park? I'm curious as to how you're going to address that question. I mean, I know people are rollerblading and sedgewaying and scootering and a lot of different things.
Even walking.
And even walking. But I'm just curious if you think 75% of the tenants of the building are going to do that.
I'll introduce myself. I'm Michael Nichols. I'm the developer for the project, and we're currently working with some of the surrounding properties that are currently occupied by the construction vehicles at the Edge apartment. We're negotiating some leasing spaces from the, forgive me if I mess this up, but the Oklahoma Authority Retirement Fund, which is the old Standard Life building. They have some parking just to the south of their property, north of our property. So the intention is there. However, we've not fulfilled that yet.
Is that a concern?
A little bit, yes, it is. But I feel pretty strongly that we'll work through it in some form or fashion.
You know some of the tenants, like yourself, in the building already?
In the proposed building?
That are going to be occupied occupying the proposed building?
We have not done any leasing to this point. It's purely speculative, and we, with your good graces, we intend to march on ahead with that.
Okay. Lisa, did you have any comments? Okay. So, any other questions from the commission?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second? That was a Tannenbaum Faulkner motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. You have
Thank you.
approval. Okay. The next, okay, we need to go back to items A and B, 616 Southwest 5th Street and 717 Southwest 5th Street. Kendall's Concrete, is anyone present for them, for the applicant? Lisa, do you want to review this?
Sure. These are two very old structures in the new park area. And individually, I mean, they're somewhat significant because they are just from the turn of the century, but they're not in and of themselves architecturally or significant or historically significant. The area as a whole, the whole neighborhood is historic in a social sense, but like other areas of our city, most of the structures have already been demolished, so the neighborhood it no longer really exists.
Okay. Do we want to make a motion on these, or?
Betsy, does
do we wanna
anybody else want to speak on?
Is there anyone else to speak on this?
Can I ask a question? It seems like, I mean, I did drive through and look at these houses, and they're not by themselves. I was expecting it to be a completely empty field with a couple of houses. There's a lot of houses that are left in there, and I'm assuming that ultimately we'll take them all out. But some of them are kind of nice. What are we going to do about those?
I don't disagree. I think it'd be awesome if somebody came forth and wanted to move this house somewhere or preserve it as an artifact. But I'm not sure anybody has an interest in doing that.
I'm not even sure of the chicken. You need a motion.
Yeah, I do. One at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm make a motion to go forward with demolition of 616 Southwest Fifth.
Second.
Okay, that was Ainsworth, Tannenbaum, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That application is approved. Do we have one for 717?
I make a motion that we approve the demolition of 717 Southwest Fifth Street.
Second.
Ainsworth, Tannenbaum, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. And we will move on to the next item, which is we are to elect chairs and vice chair for this committee.
Madam Chairman, I would like to nominate the present gruesome twosome that have been so terrific over the last few months, few years. Betsy and Gigi, the biggest, the baddest, the best.
I would modify that motion by saying their excellent leadership.
Mine rhymes better.
Any other comments? Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We should have recused ourselves. Okay. We had several administrative approval items. Thank you guys for your nice comments. Yeah, nice, Dick. Any highlights, Lisa, that you can think of?
No, a lot of revisions to previously approved applications, signage, awnings, windows, doors, nothing too big or
Okay.
noteworthy.
So Kendall's Concrete is really busy over there on Southwest 4th and 5th. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
One particular house is on such a low foundation, you can remove them or it makes it.
You can't get under it.
Do not have even have crossings. The floors are extra ground, so they're difficult to even, we had to do it anyway. There's not much to move.
I was going to say.
It's just not there. They have very, very.
Paula? Oh, you need your mic.
pardon me, I'll just reiterate, that house doesn't appear to really even have much of a foundation, and it's just barely above the ground. Lots of those houses are like that. I've actually been in some of them from time to time.
Any comments from the planning staff?
Yes, 2 comments. One, speaking of the previous case, we have been working on modifications to criteria for demolition within, because DDRC has very little, UDC doesn't have any, Scenic River, very many of the districts don't have very fleshed out criteria for demolition, so we've drafted what we think are improvements. We're going to invite all of the commissions to a workshop sometime in August. Hopefully, a lot of people will be able to attend. We're also inviting Preservation Oklahoma and other allied professionals. This will be different than HP. It's not the same level of criteria, but we're going to define economic feasibility, structural integrity, character, like urban form and design, and we will put in something about how to weigh the historic significance, even if it isn't a National Register project, for example. So we're excited about it. So we'll workshop it with everybody in August. That's number one. Number two, we're also we want to workshop with all of the commissions about the role and practice of the commissions and answer some various legal questions that always come up and protocols. And we're going to try to do that in December because most commissions wind up not having a meeting, it seems, because people are out of town. Probably a half day somewhere downtown, probably at the Cox. Stay tuned. I'm working on an agenda. So I mentioned that one. If anybody has frequent questions, burning questions, email them to me, and I will see if we can get them answered.
I think the more guidelines, the better on preservation.
Yeah.
We're sitting here and having to figure it out our own personal opinion versus these are the guidelines.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Fair to us is fair to the applicant.
Right.
And, yeah, and it's,
I didn't mean gruesome, I meant the lovely gruesome. I'm in trouble.
Yeah, Dick, to your point, the intent is to get that everybody that the whole process is very predictable because it's outlined very specifically.
Thank you for working on this, Lisa. We really
Yes.
appreciate it.
we are so happy that you were in this position, so. Congratulations on that. Anything from the committee members? Any comments? Anybody going on big vacations this summer? Your birthday is tomorrow? Oh my gosh, you're going to be 50, aren't you?
50. His jacket is 50.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, that's great.
To Cabo in August?
And there's an and to this? Congratulations doubly. That is great. Do you know yet?
Yes, we do know, but we can't tell this yet because
Oh, yeah. That's the new thing. Oh, that's great.
You don't want to make a public record.
We can wait 1 month.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how she chooses to do that. This is very creative these days.
You're clever.
Okay. With that, the next meeting is Thursday, July 17th. Is everybody planning to be here for that? I will not. I will not be here. I'm going to New York.
Do we have anything important coming up?
You have cases, you have interesting cases.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck.
That's all. Does Chuck want to say? Chuck?
In July?
By the way, we
Oh.
not a full committee yet, are we? We're still missing one.
We're missing
Missing one.
one.
Names are being submitted, and we're waiting for.
So if Betsy's not going to be here, we
Approvals.
still need 4 for a quorum, right?
Right. We need an architect.
Architect.
We are shy an architect, so that's the number one thing that we're looking for. I think he really likes that Arts Commission thing.
Back to next month's cases, the 21C Hotel is in.
Oh, I'm so sad I'll miss it.
So sorry you'll miss
I am going to New York
They're
for,
doing a presentation at the company.
it. No, it's approval, and I was a little like, I can't believe they didn't come in for a presentation, but the exterior work is essentially window replacement and entry definition and sign, it's,
Yeah,
they're
things
not,
that
it's
are
not they're
obvious.
adding on or ripping out, so.
okay.
I approve. Anything
I'm
downtown.
excited.
I
I'm
love
excited
that.
about that.
Move downtown. It's the best.
Do you have you moved in?
4 months then.
Very cool.
As soon as Betsy comes back.
Good deal. Well, I'm going to New York and to Connecticut for a arts festival. It's one of my requirements before I become the festival co-chair. And
Allied Arts?
for the arts festival yeah.
That's wonderful.
So anyway, I am sorry that I'm missing, but I am missing. Have to go to a show that night. So you have to fly early. Anyway. Anyway, we are adjourned.